So today, guys, I've got a new book, and it should be really cool because it's called Mammals, 300 Amazing Animals, and it's got fennec foxes, zebras, otters, dolphins, whales, monkeys, you name it. If it's a mammal, it's in this book, if she remembered. But anyways, let's get reading. So the first animal I have of choice is the collared peccary. Now the collared peccary, I chose this one because it's really cool to me. It looks sort of like a pig, but it's not, and I won't get into detail because that could take its own episode. But it's got this white line around it, and it looks just like a collar. Goes right behind the neck, and even actually on the neck. And this does not live around here, but it's also known as the javelina. And I thought it was pretty cool, so I thought we should check it out. But then on this other page, right next to it, I'm going to move the bookmark, we had the Arctic fox. Now the Arctic fox, the Arctic fox is super cute to me. He looks so fluffy. He has a bushy tail, short ears, cute nose. He's super cute, so I really wanted to check him out. But, yeah, we've got some more animals, so we can't spend all day on one of them, so let's get reading to the next one. And the next animal I have of choice is the fennec fox and the cheetah. Now, the cheetah I picked because I've always loved those things. They're super cool. They can run about 60 miles an hour. They're just really cool. And I bet they never even have to go to the gym. They're probably already fit, so I don't see why they need to go to the gym, but I thought we should check them out because they're super cool to me. So anyways, the other animal I have on this page is the fennec fox. And the fennec fox to me is super cute because it has a bushy tail and big ears and wide eyes. That is one of the cutest small dogs I've ever seen. And to you Chihuahua lovers, I'm not saying I don't like them, but they're a little bit more mean to me than fennec foxes. Now, some are nice, but some are mean. So, anyways, let's get on to the next animals. The next animal I have of choice, if I can even get to the page, is the brown hyena and the tara, I think. Now, the brown hyena is super cool. It looks super fluffy, but never mess with one of these unless it is tame and an adult that knows about it has given you permission to do it. Because inside that mouth right there are these big old teeth, and they will rip you apart. Those things, I can't imagine how bad they hurt, but luckily for me, I've never been bit by one. But anyways, the tara, I don't know much about them, but I had to include them because they're super cute. I mean, look at that tail and those eyes. But guys, you never want to be on one of these guys' bad side. If they get mad enough, they will rip you apart. Or was that the pine marten? That was the pine marten, sorry. So, yeah, I don't know much about these, but they look super cute, so I had to include them. But anyways, on to the next animals. The next animals I have of choice are just one page over, but I wanted to make sure I had a bookmark just so I didn't forget. But the two on this page I have are the sea otters, which I actually saw at the aquarium I went to in Atlanta not too long ago. They were huge. I thought they were only going to be like 2 foot. those things were massive. They were like 4 foot long. If they stood up on their tail, they'd most likely be taller than me, and I'm about 4'10". So, but anyways, I had to include this thing. They're super cool. It's the Wolverine. These things are vicious. They will tear you up. I had to include them because they're super cool to me, but they sort of look like a cat because they're about that size and like height, but then they also look like a dog because they're like the width and all. Like they look sort of like a puppy, so I had to include them. But anyways, on to the next animals. So the next animals I have of choice are the sloth bear and the spectacled bears. The spectacled bears I had to include because they look hilarious. I mean, look, they look like they have big old eyeglasses just covering their face. That's hilarious. But then the sloth bear, I don't know why I included it. It just looks like a sloth, its body, but then it's about the size and it has the same face as a bear. So that's a little messed up to me, but to be honest, it's honestly kind of cool too. So anyway, on to the next animal. The next animals I have of choice are the common dolphin and the pilot whale. Now, the pilot whale I've never heard of, so if y'all know anything about them, I want y'all to tell me about them if we turn on comments. But they look like sort of like a completely black beluga or orca. But then, of course, the common dolphin, I honestly did not know they had the yellow down them. Y'all probably knew that, but I did not. So had to include it to make sure y'all found out that. But anyways, on to the next animals. Of course, the next animal I have of choice, I've never heard of these. So we have the tree hyrax and the rock hyrax. They look almost the same thing, just that one looks fat and that one doesn't. But they're about the same size. That one's 10 pounds and 11 pounds, so a pound difference. But that one looks super cool, and that one's like, oh my gosh, just leave me alone. That one's like, oh, just leave me alone. So I had to include him just because he was funny. So, my bookmark. But yeah. On to the next animal. The next animal I have of choice is the bilby. Y'all might have heard of that from Bluey. I watch a little bit of Bluey because my brother watches it. But then the common wombat. Now, I had a book that I read with my grandma. I don't know where it is now, but it was about a wombat. And he kept looking. I think the story goes he was mad at his mom, so he said, I'm leaving, and he walked out and he couldn't find the right place. He couldn't sleep in a tree because there was already other guys. He couldn't sleep on the ground because of predators, just different stuff, and he found that the perfect home was where he'd always been. So yeah, it's a cute little book, but they can grow about 3 foot 11 inches, so not quite as big as the otters, but still pretty big. And the bilby, they're just cute. They look like little mice, but they're super cute, so I had to include them. But anyways, on to the next animal. So guys, next up we have the mandrill monkey and the proboscis monkey. Now, what this word right here, proboscis, means is basically just big nose. And by the picture, you could obviously tell that's why they named him proboscis monkey. I mean, look at that big old nose. That thing's huge. But I don't know much about these, but they look sort of like a baboon, so I had to put them in there because look at that. Then they got all this, looks very intimidating, but then they got the tiniest ears I've ever seen in my life. I mean, those things look like they deserve to be on a rat. But, yeah. So, anyways, we have no more animals, so hope you guys stay good. I hope you guys have a good rest of the week. I'm going to talk a little bit more about the book, but you can turn it off now. You can watch a different video now if you want to, or whatever, but if you want to, you can keep watching. So, anyways, hope you enjoyed the book, and we'll see all of you in the next episode of Andenventures. So guys, I hope you enjoyed this episode of Andenventures, and I really did. And we might do series where on rainy days and I need to stay inside, like I'm sick or something, I could read books to you and we could do series. But if you ever want to know who wrote a book, you look on the spine, is what they call it, the spine of the book, and it tells you right here who wrote the book and who was the illustrator. But this one says Chris McNab. That was the author slash illustrator. And if y'all couldn't already tell, here I'm just going to open to a random page. All these right here are illustrations. Somebody took their hand and drew it. Of course, the computer went back and printed that, so it looks a little bit better, like not all the markings where the jar was. But other than that, that concludes our episode of Andenventures. I personally enjoyed the book. Hope y'all buy it. Thanks to Chris McNab for making this book, because without this book, I never would have been able to do this video and update you and how are you doing. So anyways, I got this from Ollie's. It was about roughly $5. So if you want to, just go to Ollie's and find it. But that's pretty much it. So hope you guys enjoyed, and I certainly did. And so don't forget to like, subscribe, do all the good things, and we'll see you in our next episode of Andenventures.